going to give you strategies that you're going to go and be able to put to work in your business. And at the end of it, I do have enrollment open for my academy. For those of you that want to go a bit deeper, we can obviously go there. Nobody does, obviously we don't have to. It's not obligatory. But I wanted to give you 90 minutes of solid training so that you can go and see and take advantage of this system right now, because this is a big, massive blue ocean. And those that don't take advantage are going to be getting FOMO in about 2 or 3 years, because this is kind of, you'll see as I go through the presentation, right? What we've got right now is absolutely, like, it's one of the best marketing opportunities available. I know it sounds hypey, but I'm going to prove it to you, right? So first of all, I'm going to show you how we get unlimited free ads on Google immediately, instantly, and we can keep them there for years to come. So this is 100% set and forget. So very few things at the moment able to do that, right? So in this training, I'm going to show you how to reduce all your marketing costs to zero. I'm also going to go through how you can put all of your products in front of actual red hot buyers for those products immediately for free without spending a single penny. I'm also going to show you how to easily outsell other vendors using these free ads. And I'm actually going to give you my 5-step set and forget formula so you can actually take the system and go and get results today. Now, for those of you that stick around to the end, I've actually got a couple of cool bonuses for you. So I'm going to give you 100% untapped free Google ad listing. And what I mean by untapped is like there is nothing here. You can go and grab this today. It's got 246,000 searches from buyers every single month. And at the moment, you can literally claim it and start making money. And I'm also going to show you how to access my 4 magic, in inverted commas, grew funnels that actually find you buyers. So we've made a hybrid of funnels, and we've finally managed to develop funnels that will actually go out and find you buyers. It sounds a bit weird, like when you say it, it's like, how can a funnel find me buyers? But when I show you, this is going to blow your socks off. And this will find you buyers for years on complete autopilot, right? So I'm going to give you that as well. So I'm not going to obviously go into what I had for breakfast, but in another life, this was in 1996. I was working in insurance. I was walking around in my lunch hour trying to think of ideas to start a business. I didn't really have any transferable skills. So this is actually a copy of the Wayback Machine. I put up a website. I was going to be a wedding planner. And then when I realized very quickly that I wasn't going to be a very good wedding planner because I'd never done it before, I was left with this website, and it took us about 3 months to rank it on Google. It was actually really easy back then, but what we would do is we would put some backlinks and some things like that on it, and it would take about 3 months, but when it ranked, we were getting tons of traffic. Now, there wasn't any local sort of SEO services or anything like that at the time, so we would be ranking in like different pockets of the world. So we put this thing on here. This is called a global tracker, and when we put this on, we could see all these different places, and there was this place in Arizona, right? I've never been there, like, to this day, right? And we were ranking #1 for all these wedding related keywords. So I reached out to a few companies, and this one company agreed for me to send them the traffic, and if anybody booked a wedding service, they'd pay me a commission, all done on honesty, right? So because they didn't, it was affiliate marketing, right? But like that, no, like that wasn't a thing, right? It just wasn't a thing as far as I was aware anyway. And yeah, so I sent them the traffic. I've kind of forgot about it. I logged into my PayPal, and this is what PayPal used to look like, right? So I logged into my PayPal about 2 or 3 days later, and I had $350 sitting in this account. And it, when I contacted the company that had sent it to me, they said that this was basically because we were sending all this traffic. Somebody had basically paid a deposit. They'd paid me 10% of that deposit. So it was $3,500. They'd paid me $350. And that was mine. I could take that money out, right? And it was like, yeah, that's kind of how I unwittingly or accidentally discovered affiliate marketing. But yeah, and they said, well, this was, you know, 3,500 wasn't the entire amount. That was basically the deposit. So there was more to come. And I actually, this company, I was filling up all of their weddings just from my website in the UK, and I was doing nothing, right? And all I'd done was rank this thing on Google. And, you know, there are people that have got wedding pictures in venues, you know, hundreds of weddings that have all been organized by me sort of inadvertently, right? Because my website sent the traffic and hooked them up, right? So it's kind of mad when you think about it, like the things that happen. And this was just because I was on the front page of Google. So because there was no sort of tracking systems, or there wasn't really anything, this was 2002, right? So what we decided to do was to duplicate these websites and sell them, okay? Instead of actually doing this affiliate marketing, we would basically get them on the front page of Google. We'd put that tracker on, we'd see where they were ranking, and we duplicated them in all these different niches, right? We had like things like, I did one for mobile discos, I did one for loans, I did one for mortgages, like all different types of niches that would pay good money, right? And we would wait 3 months, but we would be doing like 3 or 4 of these a day, right? Because it would take us about 2 hours. We'd duplicate the website, it's a front page website, we'd change the text, put some backlinks, and then just wait, right? And then what happened next was kind of weird, because we put these things up for sale and literally our phone would ring off the hook, and we'd have people on the phone saying, please do not sell this. I'm going to actually phone my partner on the other line, and I want this. And we'd work out, we could sell these things for like £15,000, like not bad for a couple of hours work, right? And because we could work out, we could do a calculation and work out that this would be worth sort of 3 or 4 times that amount to the actual person. And what we found out as well, that a lot of the people that were buying these websites were nowhere near page 1 for their listing. So they were basically, quite happy to spend $15,000 and make $60,000 to $100,000 a year, right? So you kind of see the power. So obviously at this point, like I was up at the Ideal Home exhibition with my girlfriend, and I had a chap called Lee. I'd actually moved from my hometown down here, and he phoned me up every half an hour, like, we've sold one, we've sold another one, we've sold another one. And the weirdest thing was like, we'd made £100,000 in one day. This was in 2003, right? £100,000 in one day. And then like about, I think it was 6 months before that, I was earning £20,000 a year. And we were off to the races. So obviously that's not the end of the story. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. Like if that had carried on the way I would have hoped, then I wouldn't be here, right? I would have been a billionaire by now, right? But unfortunately, what actually happened was that Google, we weren't the only ones doing this, right? Everybody had started working out that Google, from about 2001, 2002, I think that's when Google really kicked off. Internet marketing really kicked off. And everybody was gaming Google to get on there. And what was happening is that people were ranking underwater basket weaving for overwater basket weaving, right? And these guys are not submerged, so they're in the wrong place. Google's being gamed, and Google's losing its unique status. So the thing is that, like, you think about it, right? What's Google's number one motivation? And that's to stay the number one search engine. And the only way it's ever going to do that is by being relevant. I was on a skiing holiday, and my friends were like saying to me, Google's crap. We're going over to Yahoo and Bing. Bing was starting to kick off then. And, this is what was happening. So Google obviously started fighting back. And this is really painful to people who did SEO back in the day. But the fact is that, this kind of destroyed most businesses, and it destroyed mine. So put in the chat box, guys, if you know what these represent, right? I won't actually have a look now because we're going to just keep moving forward. But this is a panda, a penguin, and a hummingbird. So these were the names of the penalty slaps that Google come up with, right? So this one knocked us down to page 3, and then we would fight our way back with black hat tactics that we didn't really want to do, but we had to. Then we go down to page 5, and then the final nail in the coffin, which basically delisted all my websites and all my clients' websites as well, and some of them tried to sue me, was the hummingbird. And not only did I lose my entire network and never got back on Google again, I pretty much lost my business. I lost my office because I couldn't afford to keep it. I lost my employee, nearly lost the roof over my head. From 2013 to 2017, I was flat broke. I was like throwing spaghetti at every wall you could think of, trying to come up with another business idea. Some of my friends who'd seen my success, and some of my family had seen my success a few years before, who thought I had some sort of super skill or something weird, right? They all started to realize that I was a bit of a one-trick pony. The only thing I ever had under my belt was the fact that I was on the front page of Google. Once I lost that, I didn't really have anything else. So it's kind of weird. So anyway, the reason I gave you that backstory was because obviously I knew what the power of getting to the front page of Google was going to mean to me. So I had my eyes and ears and everything sort of looking around to see what would happen and see if there was any sort of opening, because obviously Google's the #1 search engine on the planet. 70% of all the searches go to the front page of Google, right? So anyway, I'll never forget the date. This is the 6th of April, 2017. I noticed something that got my attention very fast. And all these videos had started appearing on the front page of Google. Now you can actually see that this is at the top. This is positions 1, 2, and 3. Now these are all mine, but honestly, I wasn't doing this back then. So obviously these were kind of random, and there were kind of different things appearing. Sometimes it would only be 1 or 2. And I was kind of like, whoa, this is incredible. Like, I was slightly annoyed as well, because I was thinking, well, Google's taken away all my listings, but here these are appearing, right? So the first thing I did was get in touch with my ad manager, and he said some very interesting things that I'll never forget. First thing he said was that Google basically is looking for people to do this, because Google already anticipates that in the next 5 years, everything's going to be in video format, right? And how true has that become, right? That was in 2017. TikTok's built for video, right? Facebook and Facebook now, the #1 engagement on Facebook is video, right? Facebook's actually gamifying video and trying to copy Instagram Reels. YouTube have now got YouTube Shorts, where they do these 1-minute videos where they keep you in a loop, right? And put in the chat box, guys, if in the last 24 hours you've been caught in a video loop, right? And I won't look at right now, I'll have a look in a minute, but basically normally when I ask that, loads of people put that, right? They've been caught in video loops, because what happens is, if you notice, when you get your phone and you look on your phone, and you'll see a little 1 appear at the bottom, won't you? And you think that's a message or something, but quite often it's just putting you in a video loop. And it's really kind of naughty for Facebook to do that, because it's kind of like that red 1 that you have to press it, right? And that's what they're doing. It's what they're all doing now. And up until about 6 to 9 months ago, you always got 10 websites or blogs or whatever on Google. Well, we're now starting to see those being removed as well, right? But, you know, he said to me, you know, Google have already anticipated that everything's going to be video in the next 5 years. But and I asked him a few questions. I said, look, how can I actually get these? He said, you just need to give Google what it wants. And I said, do I pay for these? And he was like, no, these are video, right? He said, so these are free organic listings. And I was like, and how many of these can I actually have? You know, I can see like some of them were 1, 2, and 3, and then you could scroll left and right and actually get more. He said, you can get as many as you want. And I said, okay, but will they kind of appear today and then go tomorrow? And he said, no. He said, as long as they're relevant, they can stay there. I said, for how long? He said, as long as they're relevant, for years. And I was like, whoa. He's just told me I can get evergreen free ads in positions 1, 2, 3, and effectively 4, 5, 6 for free with a billboard. And then, you know, my hairs were starting to like stand on the back of my arm. But then I obviously realized that I didn't know how to do this. So I got on the phone to, like, you name a guru, right? Any guru you can think of, I was on the phone to them, and I didn't have any money. I was going to open a credit card, and I was like, you know, please show me how to do this. And 2 weird things happened. First one was that they didn't know how to do it. Some of them were appearing in this, you know, in this carousel, but most of them actually, in fact, I would say all of them. A couple of them said they did know, but when I pressed a bit further, they didn't really give me any, you know, they didn't really kind of know, right? Because it was new. I was kind of half expecting to say, sorry, this is all sewn up, but this was brand new. No one knew, right? But the second thing that they said was really weird, was that they didn't care. Now, this is gold for us guys, because right now, nobody's focusing on this because of those penalty slaps, right? SEO, to all intents and purposes right now, is pretty much dead. Everybody's over on Facebook first, advertising. That's where everyone's throwing all their money at the moment. And I've got some interesting stuff to share with you about that, right? But the fact is that this is the #1 search engine. So this is in front of people when they're searching, with the #1 medium right now. So, you know, I never designed this to show to anyone. Like, I wasn't going to be here today showing you. I just needed this to save my business. So, you know, these are some of the products. And as Mike said, I'll show you in a minute. I was the #1. I was the very first #1 affiliate for Groove when they launched back in January 2020, right? It was actually December 2019, January 2020. December 2019, that was my first ever video there, right? I got a commission 20 minutes later, right? And, you know, all of these products, you might recognize some of these, right? So these are, you know, a lot of these, as Mike just said, you know, these are products he used to own or he used to run, right? But at the time, you know, I was like putting up all different products and, you know, making really good money. And the carousel used to be that way. And again, in line with what Google said about everything is going to be more and more video, what Google have done now, and instead of making it a carousel like that, they've made it like a 4-pack like this, right? So you can see them here. So you can actually get 4 listings on the front page of Google, okay? And then when you press view all now, instead of scrolling left and right, it opens up the video tab. So you get all videos and you still get to see these 4 as well. So it kind of gives you these 4 as well, right? So this, you know, this is kind of, you know, pretty powerful right now, because when I actually discovered this, okay, you know, like when I was actually ranking for Groove, put a 1 in the chat box if you're a Groovester, you love Groove. And like I've just been following their success since last year. It's just blown me away. You know, what an amazing company, what an amazing community. Like I've never known people inside the Groove community like you guys, right? And myself, like I've been so busy, I haven't been in there as much as I'd like to, but I'm definitely a big part of this Groove community. I love this company so much, and the people behind it are just, they just don't exist, right? But as you can see, I went down to, I didn't get a badge when I was number 1 because I was one of the first, right? But when Joe started posting these badges up on the Facebook group, I got to number 5. Now, I'm going to show you something in this presentation that's going to show you how you can take this training and go and promote Groove, right? Because I actually got a front-end commission of $94,000 last year. I got a back-end commission, I think it was around $15,000, right? And I did all of this from about 6 or 7 different videos. That's it, all set and forget. So I'm going to show you how that works in just a minute. And obviously, Groove's not the only company I've promoted in the past. I've been consistently the top 10 affiliate. I don't actually know if I am. I'm still making lots of money for these products, but they haven't actually posted a leaderboard for a while. But I was up there for nearly 2 years without spending a single penny on ads. And this is like top 10 seller in the world, right? So it's kind of weird when you think about it. And we've got this plugin as well. You can actually see here, look, some of these products, when we put this in, it actually shows you who the top channel is at that time, right? When I made these. And on this day, I was number 1 for this search term for One Funnel Away, above Russell Brunson. For Kartra, I was number 1, Webinar Jam number 1, Ever Webinar number 1. And I actually showed this to Mike last year, and I only had 6 videos when I was actually had the authority over Groove at this time, right? I definitely don't now because Groove have a really strong YouTube channel, so they've reclaimed that authority. But I had this with just a handful of videos, right? So, you know, it doesn't take much for you to be able to get this going. And last quarter as well, we did over $1 million of actually promoting my own product, right? And actually we did, in the 3 months after that, we did another $1 million, right? So, and you can actually see I've spent $12,000 on ads since 2017. That's my total ad budget that I've ever spent. So it's kind of weird when you think about it, right? Like most of this is retargeting stuff. And a lot of this stuff I've been testing out and trying and they haven't worked, right? And I even hired a big agency and they got my ad account shut down in 2 weeks, right? Because they were such a big, my theory was they were a big agency and they hired me interns. So I think the intern didn't quite know what they were doing. But there you go. I have no idea, but I had to stop working with them because I didn't have an ad account. So yeah, I've now been able to create that amazing lifestyle business and, you know, travel the world and do funky stuff. And this band stands opposite my flat. And I think Mike sort of mentioned this a bit earlier, but I actually went into the bank in 2019, in March 2019, I went into the bank and paid off my mortgage for this $1 million apartment in cash. And I obviously didn't walk in with a briefcase. So I actually went in and just transferred from one account to another. And the bank manager said to me as I was walking out, he said, like, what is it you do? And I said, I just put stuff at the top of Google for free. And he was like, well, how'd you do that? I'll never forget his face. It was kind of stuck with me. So as I say, like, I never designed this to show to anyone. And the first person I ever decided to help with this was just my buddy, Marcus. I was actually kipping on his floor when I started my first business. I didn't have a car. I didn't didn't have a roof over my head, like I had a few £1,000s in the bank, and he let me keep on his floor for free, right? So he knew the struggles I've been going with Google, but basically he had this podcast and he asked me to go around and see if I could get it on the front page of Google. So within about sort of half an hour, 45 minutes, I got him some listings, and his jaw dropped. He was like, are you Houdini or something? Like, have you actually considered showing this to anyone? And I really hadn't. You know, I know people say, oh, I hadn't, but no, I hadn't. I just wanted it to run my own business. And I got one of those sort of weird cartoon light bulbs, you know, those things that you get above your head. And I was thinking, like, I can't even scratch the surface for my own business. This is something that will really, really help people. And I thought, oh, I really should, like, I think I almost felt like a sense of duty to do it, right? So, so I put some feelers out, and the first person to jump on was Todd. He was the first person I ever showed this system to, and he didn't let up on me, right? He was like, right, okay, well, let's see, let's see what you're made of, sort of thing. And we agreed to do this 2-week channel review after we started working together. And I mean, I should have probably said 2 months or something, but you know, we did agree to do it after 2 weeks. And he went for a very competitive product. And we put up 13 videos. He got 1,455 views in those first 2 weeks. And if you notice the actuals, if you can just about see that, these search terms are all from actual buyers, right? So this is 1,455 buying intent views, right? And he got 17 number one rankings and 72 first page rankings. And he was off to the races. Like, he left me, I'll actually make this available. You can go and watch this a bit later. But basically, this is a screenshot from the testimonial he left me. And he actually said that he found more than I actually found, because this was just a kind of spreadsheet thing. And, you know, he then was off to the races making serious money. He ended up selling this company and starting a junk removal company with his brother. So really, like, amazing success story. But obviously, then I started showing more and more people. As I realised that, you know, I've shown my buddy Marcus. I've managed to get results for Todd. And then I just started showing more and more. And this is Brian. He said, pretty excited about Paul's 24-hour ranking system. These are screenshots for a video I posted less than an hour ago, number 3 on YouTube, number 2 in the Google video section. Now, by the way, guys, I can see all of your chat and questions. And what I should have said at the start, and I apologize, is that I will actually go through a full Q&A with you guys at the end. And also, if there's any questions that we miss or we don't get answered, then you can obviously hit up my team as well. So, but the fact is that, you know, obviously I want to keep in the flow. So I will be checking in with the questions and the you know, the chat and all that sort of funky stuff. But the fact is that, you know, I will be opening up for Q&A at the end. So just to let you know that. So as we discovered this, I discovered that there are actually 4 fundamental pattern shifts. So these are kind of 4 big mistakes that most people are making in marketing. Now, most people won't actually share this with you, because it kind of stops you buying their programs and things like that, right? But we realised that once we, you know, if you just make one of these changes to your marketing, you can see really, really good results, right? So, and also, you know, if you kind of change 1 or 2 of these, it pretty much guarantees your success. So I'm going to go through these in this training for you, because I think a lot of this is going to open up your eyes, right? Because normally when I show people this, they're like, whoa. So anyway, the 4 pattern shifts we made were: I reduced my marketing cost to 0, now put all my products in front of actual red hot buyers immediately for free. I'm now easily able to outsell other vendors using something called the power of 3. And I actually developed a 5-step set and forget system. And I'm going to give you that today as well, that anyone can apply. Okay. So, you know, obviously we're all adults. So I'm sure you'll get that. But I do have to say this, right, because results are not typical. For some reason, whenever I show somebody something, there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to get results with it. And that's not just from me, that's from anybody, right? We're all different. We're all like work in different ways. There's no magic unicorn spitting out money. And what I'm going to show you today is not get rich quick. Okay. I don't endorse it. I wouldn't recommend like going for anything like that, because usually you're onto a failure, right? But having said all of that, right, who should you learn from? Now, Mike, when he was helping me with my webinar last, I think it was March last year, he said to me, you should actually put this slide inside your webinar, because this really helps people. So, you know, I'm going to give kudos to Mike here, because he actually told me to say this to you guys, right? But if you learn from anybody,
Okay, whoever you learn from must know how to do it. And what that means is that somebody who goes and learns a course over here doesn't actually get any results with it, but then goes and teaches it over here, you're seriously unlikely to get results if that happens. But obviously, like, I never designed this to show to anyone. This is obviously how I run my business. So I've earned myself a tick on that one, right? But also, they must know how to teach it. Now, if you take me as an example, when I was getting results with this, I didn't know that I could teach anyone. I don't have a teaching degree. I've never, learned how to teach. So just because I knew how to do it didn't necessarily mean I could get results with anyone. And today we've got 6,000 students getting staggering results with this system. So I've now earned a tick on that one. But again, obviously, if somebody is getting results with someone, you want to just be aware of are they able to teach it? Sometimes you sign up for these things and it's all convoluted. You can't make any sense of it, right? Because they're getting results with it doesn't mean they can transfer that onto you. And the most important one is whoever they've taught must have gone on to have incredible success. And I've got some case studies and some funky stuff in this training to share with you. So obviously I get a tick here, but I think this will really help some of you guys because obviously there's so many webinars, so many things out there. Just make sure they tick all these 3 boxes and then you'll be good, right? So now we'll get some interaction. Put a 1 in the chat box if you guys are pumped and ready to jump in, and we'll get straight in to the training, and I'll say hello to a few people as well. So if you could hit the chat box, that'd be really funky. So let's see some ones, guys. We've got one from Simon coming in, and we're just waiting. Everybody's, I'm going to keep you on your toes, guys. You've got to wake up, right? So we've got Simon, Miller, Larrock, Marcus. That's my buddy Marcus. He's here. Cool. Ola, David. That slide I just showed you was my buddy Marcus. He's actually here. How cool is that? Lindstrom, McLeod, Jackson, like loads, all blowing up now. Shaw, Goodwin, Greg, Lewis, Thompson, Mooney, Divine. Fab. Okay, awesome. Let's get straight into it then. Okay, fab. So what do we need to start with? Okay, so you're probably thinking you need a website, Wix or WordPress or whatever, right? No, you don't need any of that at all. Okay, you're probably thinking you need some money or some budget for something just to get started. You don't actually need a single penny. With this training I'm going to show you today, you can actually get started today for free and make money, right? You're probably thinking you need some tech skills, some ninja skills. Absolutely not. This is 100% newbie friendly. You're probably thinking you need a product or a service. And obviously, if you've got one, you can definitely use it for that. But I actually developed this through affiliate marketing. So you definitely don't need a product or service or anything like that. You're probably thinking you need some software, Infusionsoft or all these kind of Active Campaign, all these different things. Well, no, because the actual service we're going to use is 100% free. Okay, so that's really cool. And you probably think you need some like ninja sales skills, Better Call Saul, right? So, you've got to do infomercials. Well, that actually doesn't work on the platform that we use. So, so the great thing is that you don't need that, and you don't need to be any of your favorite superheroes. Mine was always Superman growing up, right? So having said that, who can use this system? Okay, so if you're an affiliate marketer, definitely. Physical products, coaches, consultants, if you want to get rid of clients, you've got anything to sell, if you want to free up time, if you're an agency owner, if you're brand new at marketing, in fact, fill in the dots, right? Does it work for ... Someone's going to ask this later on in the training, right? Does it work for ... The answer is always yes, right? Because, and somebody will still ask it, but that's okay, that's cool, because everything is searched for on the front page of Google, okay? And we don't just rank for products, we rank for the reasons why people need the products and the problems people have that are solved by them purchasing the product. And, if every single person here wanted to promote Groove, right, you would not even scratch the surface. Every single one of my students could all promote Groove and they wouldn't even scratch the surface because there's so many reasons why people need Groove. Right? You could just take one of the products inside a Groove and just go deep and start showing people how to create webinars, how to create landing pages, how to create automated email sequences. And you can go even further than that, how to create automated email sequences for dentists, for whatever. Like everything is searched for on Google, okay? And you can go super deep with this. So, it doesn't really matter what it is. I actually helped somebody not that long ago who had a charity, right? And they didn't want front-end money coming in. They actually wanted to just raise awareness, right? So because it's free traffic, you can do it for that. So we'll dive straight into fundamental pattern shift number 1, was how I managed to reduce all my marketing costs to zero. Okay, so obviously we've had the iOS 14 update, okay, and this has been a big headache because all the tracking's all messed up now for ads, right? But we're going to use Facebook as an example because while I was discovering marketing, I learned some home truths, right? And Facebook as an example, for instance, if you actually, and by the way, you don't have to take my word for any of this, obviously go and check, you know, if you think I'm talking rubbish or whatever, but this is just stuff that we learned and I wanted to share it with you, right? So Facebook ad prices have been increasing nearly 100% year on year for the last 5 or 6 years, right? I think it was last quarter, the quarter before, they went up 50% when Google blocked, Apple blocked the tracking, right? Facebook went up 50% just in 1 quarter, right? Now, obviously what that means is you've now got what actually pushes the competition up. What actually pushes the prices up is the competition. So you've now got 5 to 6 times as many people advertising for virtually everything for the same thing, right? So for everything. So like there's a red ocean. It doesn't really matter what you're advertising. Everybody's got massive competition, right, on Facebook. And Facebook are under scrutiny now. Now, it's my firm belief, I don't have this written down, but I think that everyone's going to have an ID with their Facebook account because they've got all these trolls and all these things happening and safety issues. And they're under so much scrutiny, but everybody's invested, all the governments, everything, everyone's actually invested in Facebook when you think about it, right? So Facebook's not going anywhere, but they will take your ad account down tomorrow, whether it's $100 a day or $1 million a day, right? They're so big now. Their number one protection, number one motivation, one thing that they care about is not losing Facebook. And they don't care, they'd rather lose the money from that ad account. And they'll give you a red medicine bottle and you'll either get it back or you won't. There's kind of you get into 2 categories and they don't tell you which one it is. You have to apply. And if you don't get it back, they'll never give it back to you. Okay. And they do this without even giving you a reason why, right? So if you're not diversifying your marketing from Facebook, then obviously that's a problem. Ads not getting approved. It's a bit like, obviously, you go and put up an ad and then you have to wait 24 hours. Then you've got to kind of ask them to review it and then wait another 24 hours. It's like asking your parents if you can go to the prom or something, you know, when you're an adult and you're a marketer and you've got your own family. You know, it's weird, really, but this is what we have to do, right? And if you keep nagging them to get approved, you can get banned, right? So this is a real worry. This is really stressful. Okay, and around 450,000 plus new businesses started last year. And again, what we realised is that if you actually go and look a bit deeper at this, typically 5% will break even, right? And 1% will succeed. And that's not good odds, right? And when you actually go and look at where everybody's putting their money, the biggest expense in any business is marketing. So the biggest thing that everybody's throwing their money at to see whether their business is going to succeed or fail is Facebook, because everybody's going to Facebook, right? So I just want to paint a picture here, right? So imagine you've got $10,000 on a product, right? And you've got to prove that this works. Now, if you've got $1 million and you take it to Facebook, you're going to get it working, right? But most people don't have that, right? Most people have a certain budget, like 5,000, 2,000, 10,000, whatever it is, right? First of all, really, you need to hire an agency nowadays. You can give it a go alone, but you're going to be spending more money on your ads because you're going to be figuring stuff out. And a good agency will charge you around $5,000 a month. The ones that charge less, you know, they are learning, okay? Because the ones that are not learning will charge you about 5,000, right? So that's 5,000. So if say you've got a 10,000 budget, they're going to lock you in on a 2 or 3 month contract because they want to basically be throwing loads of spaghetti at these ads to find your audience, right? So what they'll do is they'll test out around 30 audiences, right, with a brand new product. They'll test those audiences, each one of those $5 a day for 5 days, but they'll also test $5 a day, 5 days with each one of those audiences with a different image, 2 or 3 different images, 2 or 3 different copy, 2 or 3 different creatives, all with your money, right? And then you get burnt out fast. And if you go to some of the Facebook, some of the agency Facebook groups, I won't mention what they're called, but you can go and find them and just go in there and say, what's the average churn rate for Facebook agencies? And they'll openly tell you it's around 3 months. And when you take a look at this stat here, and you think about 3 months, people are basically, Facebook in a way have got a lot of blood on their hands because they're burning people's money out, right? So, but, you know, I think Facebook are making the bulk of their money from people burning out, trying to start a business, you know. But again, this is just stuff we've discovered. So this one here, if you fall into this category, it's not your fault, right? Because most people don't know how to place their products in front of buyers. The only real way to do that is to get on the search engines. And if you want to go and put an ad at the top of Google, like in 2009, I think it was, Google decided to change all their pricing from like 15 cents a click to $3 a click. And this is why funnel building and stuff like that all came about, because people couldn't make enough money on the front end. They had to build in integrated systems. I can't say it, right? But obviously with what we've got today, you're now able to do that again, okay? So to highlight why this is important, Richard Branson had a record company in the 80s, and his record company was worth about 30 million, and he was stuck on the Virgin Islands with his wife Joan, and all the flights were cancelled. So he got a piece of card, you know, just ripped it off the side of the thing, got a felt tip pen, and he wrote Virgin Airways, $50 or $100, held it above his head, walked around the airport, obviously filled every single seat on his plane because he'd solved a problem, right? Marketing 101, solve a problem. And while he was on his way home with this full plane, he'd actually made a little bit of profit as well. I'm not sure that was legal, but he was helping people. He said to his wife, Joan, he said, I want to start an airline. And at the time, a Boeing 747 would have cost him 30 million, around about the same amount of money as his record company. Now, when he went back to his record company and he told them he wanted to do this, they were all up in arms. You know, there was people's jobs at risk, right? People were going to leave the company. His best mate, Nick, left, came back later. And so what he did, so he said, look, guys, give me a bit of credit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a way to protect the downside. And what that means is he was going to figure out a way not to have to bet the farm, right? Not to have to, like, so that everybody at his record company's job was safe, whatever. And you're probably thinking, well, how did he do that? Right, well, this is the strategy he teaches. If you want to go and sit in a room with Richard Branson for a couple of days, he'll charge you $50,000 or $100,000. And this is what he tells people to do, right? What he did was he got a directory of everybody who works at Boeing, and he phoned everyone until he got that one person who said, yes, we will hire you a plane for the first 12 months. Now, obviously, there's cost involved, but at the end of that 12 months, he could hand the plane back if it didn't work. He could effectively play at aviation for a year, give it a go. If it doesn't work, hand the plane back. His record company and everybody's job is safe, right? And unfortunately, it didn't work out, and I had no idea what ever happened to him after that, right? A little bit of fun there. But yeah, massive success, obviously, as you all know. So, yeah, so that's, you know, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of Richard Branson, but if he was coming into this, you know, into be doing something like this right now, he would want to protect the downside. This is what he teaches people to do. So the only way you can protect the downside is by cutting your costs, so that you've got some costs going in, but you know what they are, you can give it a go. If it doesn't work out, you move on to something else. And the only way you can effectively do that in marketing is by getting rid of all your marketing costs, right? So obviously, we now have access to the front page of Google again. We're able to do that, okay? So that brings us to fundamental pattern shift number 2, is how I actually get all of my products in front of actual red hot buyers. And yeah, I was going to do a drum roll, but I was a bit fast on the buzzer there. Obviously, we use YouTube, right? So I think most of you are going to know this, but I'll go through them quickly. Google owns YouTube, right? We consider YouTube to be Google's younger brother. YouTube, the only way they make money is through ads, right? YouTube generates income for Google. YouTube's the second biggest search engine on the planet. So Google's number 1, YouTube's number 2, and Google's going to rank our YouTube videos straight away. Okay, we don't have to wait 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. We go in instantly. I'll show you some results on that in a minute. And we also get top rankings on both YouTube and Google, and also Google videos. So that's kind of 3 places we get. Okay, and because of this, we can tap into an abundance of targeted traffic. We can choose any product we want, and we can go deep. We can choose the reasons, the problems, the product itself. You know, we can all, it doesn't really matter. There's so much traffic that's coming into Google that could lead to a sale of your product. It's unreal. And right now, this is the biggest blue ocean in marketing because nobody's paying attention except myself. I'm the only one who teaches this effectively, right? And obviously YouTube's free. You don't have to spend any money for the platform. There's a paid version if you don't want to see ads, but that doesn't mean you don't see our videos because our videos are organic. So they actually see more of ours. So yeah, it's completely free. You can set up as many YouTube channels as you want, day in, day out. Doesn't cost you a penny, right? So before we get into this, okay, because I know some of you guys will have some common myths and I'm holding my hand up here. My buddy Marcus is here. We were putting up music videos and I was standing off camera. I didn't want to do them in 2007. And we were kind of trying to come up with ideas to start a channel when I was round at his place. And we would we made this YouTube song, which was kind of funny. But I wouldn't be on camera. I was too shy. And it took me 9 years to pluck up the courage to actually start my very first YouTube channel. I didn't start mine until 2016 because I had some of these common myths. And the biggest one that you fall into is the one that most people have is that you need to show yourself. Most people think you need to show yourself, right? And obviously it's not your fault if you thought that because it's in the name, right? It's called YouTube, right? But the weird thing is that, like from 99% of the stuff that you can promote on YouTube, you don't need to go anywhere near a camera, right? I'll give you an example. So this one here, this is not a product placement video. This is solving a problem, right? Now, let me ask you guys, who do you know who created this video, right? And it's a trick question, obviously, because the fact is that there is not, like, this is a crap image, really, crap, perfect beauty tips, kind of real generic, nothing exciting about this, right? But what's interesting is it solves a problem. It's been up since 2014 and it's gone viral. It's got 700,000 views. This video has also is generating money from ads. Now, every other YouTube training that you'll have seen probably will be talking about you making money with AdSense or monetizing your channels or growing subscribers and things like that. That's not this training at all. Okay, I'm going to actually go against all that and say, don't do that because it's hard, right? And I'll tell you why. But, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I would recommend not doing it, right? I would never say you can't actually do that because I still think there's room to do that. But that's kind of what everybody's doing, right? We switch off ads. So this one here, we worked out with ads, this would have made around about $1,500 to $2,500 potentially. It's not one of my videos. I don't actually know. And it does vary from niche to niche. So we don't actually know. But, and that's not bad considering all this is a slideshow. Right? It's like you can basically put these slides together on Keynote, PowerPoint, Google Slides is free, right? And then hop on Zoom and record it, right? And then you upload this to YouTube and then YouTube has a music library. Right? You could do this and like everybody here could do this in about half an hour easily, right? And then they just put 1, apply ice, 2, apply cucumber, all these kind of things. 9 out of 10 people like this content. They haven't even asked for a like in this video, but 9 out of 10 people actually like this content for something that took them about half an hour, right? 252 comments. And so, I'll talk about this a bit more later on, but what we'll do is we switch off ads on all of it. You don't find ads on any one of my videos on my channel, right? And we'll put a link here. And this first 3 lines here, this is considered above the fold because they don't have to press this show more on any device and they can see this link. So we'll put a link here to a simple and natural face cream. And instead of $1,500 to $2,500, this could have made 10 to 100 times that amount, right? But these guys just went with ads, right? But we know the stats on these sort of videos. And again, like you would never know who this is. This could be anybody. Could be someone in your family, right? A secret YouTuber. If they don't tell you, you'd never know, right? So that's myth number 1. And you think about all the niches you can go in, like e-commerce, you just put, like where you would go and see a static ad on Google for a football or a lazy spa or something, an inflatable spa, you just put all the images of that product together and make a 15-second, 30-second video. That's all you need to do because you're taking advantage of the power of the Google and YouTube algorithms working together. And that's now a free ad in a format that people prefer, right? Loans, credit cards, all these sort of stuff make mega money. Obviously, putting yourself on camera wouldn't make any sense. Most niches, you've got pets. Pets is a massive niche. Hobbies is a massive niche. Again, if you're selling sailboats or something like that, you just show people on boats, on images, right? And you can make a lot of money. So myth number 2 is it takes months to get ranked. Now I'm going to have to cough, excuse me. I drink as well. Okay, so again, this comes from most people thinking that obviously SEO, search engine optimization, if you want to go and hire an agency now to get you on the front page of Google, they're going to the first thing they'll normally say is we can't guarantee the first page of Google. If they're ethical, that's what they'll say. And there's a reason for that, right? It's been taken up by all these kind of snack packs and videos and things like that now. We're all pushing out the organic listings. So they'll say page 2 or above, and 70% of all the search for traffic goes to the first page, right? Secondly, they will tell you to wait 3 to 6 months. Like, who does marketing like that anymore? That's why everybody's trying to make it on Facebook, because people think it's instant. Facebook actually takes a while as well, but most people think it's instant. But most people now will avoid going on YouTube because they'll think, oh, it's going to take a while for this to rank, right? So I'll just show you a few screenshots here. This one was mostly when you press send, it ranks. With, like, literally, you go over to Google or YouTube and it's there, right? So this one's 29 minutes ago. This one's 10 hours ago. This one here, 26 minutes ago, 6 hours, 4 minutes, 6 hours. This one here, ranked my video for keyword DJs in Melbourne on YouTube in 39 minutes. Let's see how we go on google.com.au, which is Australia, right? This one here, 11 minutes ago. And what actually happens is Google gives this thing called a new tag, which I think it stays up for 7 days. But in the first 24 hours, Google promotes your video for you. So it actually promotes it on Google and YouTube. And the reason it does that is obviously they would never know where to place videos if they didn't. So they're basically giving you some love, like pushing it out there, and then you kind of see where it's supposed to fit, right? And what we do is we optimize this video so that it stays there, right? Because otherwise, after 24 hours, it will just drop. Okay, this one here, less than an hour since I posted. This is my first video product for this product. I'm pretty happy with these results. Thanks, Paul Murphy. Like, imagine the look on your face when you start seeing your listings just literally just coming up like this. You know, we've got some reactions of some of my students. I'll show you that in a bit. It's quite good fun to watch. It makes me smile as well. So you need subscribers, likes, and comments. Okay, so obviously everyone's been on a YouTube video probably in the last 24 hours at least, right? So, you know, you'll see them saying, please subscribe to my channel, like, hit the comments, and even I do it, right? I get caught up in it, but it's got it makes no difference whatsoever for what this stuff does is it helps towards engagement. And what people are doing here when they do all this stuff, some of it's vanity, but most of it's they're trying to get their video to go viral, okay, which is not what we want. We don't want our video to go viral because we just want to rank in front of our potential buyers, right? So for this one here, I was actually ranking here for quite a few years, but some of my students now are copying what I do, right? So now I've been pushed out. But I was actually in here for years, okay? And you'll actually notice that this video's not got hardly any likes, 7 up likes, 3 down likes. All I did was screen share the landing page and tell them about the offer, right? Only 2 comments, one was from me, okay? And actually, this stuff is actually way less important now anyway. What Google's looking for videos to go viral is how long people are watching videos. That's the main factor now that YouTube looks at. But you can see that this has got 1,000 views, right? And other YouTubers, I'll show you a case study in a minute. Other YouTubers look at that and go, that's rubbish. 1,000 views, right? We were getting 10 to 15 signups for these free trials every day. Now, admittedly, some obviously cancel, some take up. But for this to make the same amount of money as a video that gets 1 million views, we need 7 sales. Just 7 sales, right? I'll show you that in a minute. But the fact is that this is all in front of red hot buyers, and these are 1,000 buyers, not 1,000 views, because these are only going in front of people that are interested. This is getting 10 to 15 signups a day. Because someone will come to here, they see the video, quite often they wouldn't even go for it, they just click this link. As you can see, we've got these above the fold, right? So, you know, this is great because people ignore us when we're doing this as well, and we just clean up behind the scenes a little bit. You know, it's kind of funny. But you don't need subscribers, likes, and comments to rank. The only thing you need to do is to optimize your video to tell Google to rank it, okay? And then that's it, set and forget, right? So myth number 4 is you can only make money from YouTube with AdSense. And like I said, like this is what every other, pretty much 99% of all the courses out there that are teaching YouTube strategies are teaching you to go and like get 1,000, 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. In my niche, right, the gurus in my niche, I think I know about 10, maybe slightly more, that have got 1 million subscribers. It's not a very easy thing to do in any niche. Right, getting 1 million subscribers, you have to go all in and post every day and be thinking outside the box and have like amazing studios and everything. You know, I just have this $100 microphone, right? But the fact is that if you want to do that, obviously I'd say give it a go if that's something you fancy doing, but that's a red ocean, right? So here's the case study, right? This is Shelby Church. Shelby Church has got 1.6 million subscribers. Amazing channel, by the way. This is a really good channel. So if you want to check it out, go and check it out. But check this out, right? 1,000 views on my webinar jam video. I only needed 7 sales to get $1,400, right? Because the product cost $497 and I got 40% commission. So I was getting $200 a sale, 7 sales, $1,400, right? To match that with the viral strategies, this video here, she had 822,000 views and she made $1,300, right? And this is Shelby Church. She's got 1.6 million subscribers. So, you know, for you to get to 1 million subscribers, I mean, it was probably even easier when she started. And another thing I would say as well, not a lot of people tell you this, 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel 5 years ago was 100,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel now is the equivalent of if you had 10,000 5 years ago. Because there's so many more YouTubers. YouTube is just growing at a massive rate. So if you think about like how money's devalued over the years, it's a bit like that. So, you know, you really do need to have big channels, right, for you to make some good money. So I don't recommend doing this because obviously you've seen the auditions for the X Factor, right? And this is just one of 3 months of auditions and there's only one winner, right? And this is kind of what you're up against now with those types of channels, right? And, you know, my channel is not optimized for subscribers, for any of that stuff. I've made multiple millions this year and this channel has got 5.54 thousand subscribers. And, you know, you heard what Mike had to say about me at the start. There's some like really big names in the industry that consider me one of the top guys to do this. And yet you know, again, people just follow me because they like my channel or whatever, but I don't optimize for this. I literally rank. The last few videos, you'll notice I was actually ranking for Groove because they had a launch. So I was just, you know, basically putting up some videos about the launch, letting people know, you know, if you want to get in now before everything changes. But, you know, you don't have to post every day. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to do all this kind of stuff that you need to do for your YouTube channel. This is so much more fun and so much easier, right? So quick case study. So I had 958 subscribers. So if you want to actually make money with AdSense, you need 1,000 subs, 4,000 hours of watch time. Okay, the average time that usually takes is about 3 to 6 months on any channel. Again, like that's having some skin in the game, right? And Google does that deliberately so that you have got some skin in the game. So by doing it that way, okay, you can't actually monetize until you actually have to apply to become a Google partner. Now, I am a Google partner. Last October, I switched on ads on my channel for a month as a case study for my students, right? I made $2,000 that month, not bad, right, in AdSense revenue. I lost $30,000 in normal revenue. So, and I think it's because a lot of people thought, well, you're the guy who says don't switch on ads, and some people were seeing my ads and they didn't know what I was doing. I did actually make it clear to my audience, but a lot of people who were kind of dipping in and watching my videos were thinking, well, you're not, you know, but I actually did it deliberately as a case study to show people. But this one here, according to YouTube, I wasn't monetized, right? So I was making nothing according to YouTube, right? So I had put up 10 videos for a product over a 6-week period. So yeah, I hadn't put one up every day. I've just been putting them up sporadically. We generated $22,000 in commission. We generated $101,000 in revenue. So this was all hands off. This was like no support tickets, no nothing. This is all affiliate commissions, right? And I took a screenshot of the day before and put in the chat box if you know how much you need to earn to get to $1 million a year. And I'll tell you, it's 2,700, right? Just over. So on this day, this does actually fluctuate, but on this day, potentially, we'd hit $1 million a year with just 10 videos. Like, think of the power of that. That's just nuts, isn't it? But actually, we hadn't. We'd hit like 4 times that because that was the revenue. This was our commission. You know, and I took a screenshot of that day, and that day we were having a particularly good day. I think it was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something, right? And you might want to pay attention as well. I'm going to come back to this in a minute, but you might want to pay attention to this bit here, right? You'll actually notice that we only had 334 visitors, but we had 181 sales. So 50% conversion, right? Which is not something that's easy to get in any industry. And I'll show you how we did that as well. Okay, so we'll get a bit of interaction here, guys. Okay, so put a 3 in the chat box if you thought, okay, Paul, yeah, I've got Facebook, I've got TikTok, I've got Instagram. I don't know if anyone uses Twitter anymore. You know, you've got all these different things, right? And it's just, it's too hard to get started, okay? Just put a 3 in the chat box if you've ever thought, I just don't know if I can be bothered with YouTube or it's too hard or whatever. Okay, so put a 3. I want to see some 3s, guys, because I know that some of you would definitely have thought this, right? So let's get some 3s. Yeah, 3 from Curry, 3 from Marcus. Marcus, you started one in 2007. 3 from Chugilio. Okay, loads of 3s coming in now. Harmut, Smart. Yeah, okay. So loads and loads of 3s. So yeah. Okay, guys. So, okay, I want a bit of commitment from you, right? So it's a bit of fun, okay? But this will really help you. So if I show you on the next slide in 3 easy steps how you can do just 3 steps in less than an hour to go and make a commission today, who's going to promise me that they're going to get started today? Who's going to promise me that they're going to go and take action? So put a 5 in the chat box if you're going to take action. So like millions of 3s coming in. I wasn't scrolling. I just didn't see like, oh, wow, me, it's way too complex. I have no clue. Just keen to get going. Okay, wicked. Okay, so loads of 5s coming in. Okay, so I'm going to read out a few names. Now, you guys that are putting a 5, obviously you're making a commitment to me, but it's a bit of fun, right? But this is a commitment to yourself. Okay, if I show you on this next slide, if I deliver on this next slide, you guys promise me you're going to go and take action. So we've got Lee. I'm going to read out your names. First name, Ali, Libden, Larrock, Wells. I can't read that. Schwabsian, sorry. Trujillo, Fletcher, Simon, Tab, Ola, Weisbeck, David, Mark. Right, there's millions. I'm actually going to stop there. But okay, right. I've got your number. I've got your name. I've got your address. I'm going to cut. No, I'm not, obviously. But okay, so obviously you've made a commitment to yourself that you are going to take action. Right? You ready? Okay, this is it. This is it. Right. So you're going to create a YouTube channel. Okay. So all you do is you go over to Gmail and you log in. Okay. Everyone's got a Gmail. If you haven't, you can set one up in a couple of minutes. Then you go to YouTube. You log in. Okay. Once you're in YouTube with your Gmail, your YouTube channel's waiting. It just says start your channel or access your channel, top right-hand corner. And then what you would do is you would go and pop up the same as you would on Facebook, everything else, pop up a banner and a photo, right? And all of that you could do in 15 minutes, right? With me so far? Yeah? Okay, so that's you set up. That's your advertising platform ready to go, okay? Then we want you to create a short 30-second video with about 3 or 4 different images. Okay, go and put it into a slideshow, okay, which you can do on Keynote, PowerPoint. Okay, if anyone here is technically challenged, I know my mum is with things like this, go over to fiverr.com, Fiverr, right, and pay someone $5. It'll be the best $5 you've ever spent. Just give them the images and the link to your product, right, and tell them to put the link at the bottom of the slide. Okay, and you can get them to add some music. They'll do all of that for $5, right? So that's 45 minutes, okay? And once you put that up on your YouTube channel, you can generate income for years to come. You haven't had to spend a fortune on Facebook ads. You haven't had to spend a fortune on all different types of softwares and things out there that people think you need, right? And to give you an example of this, the very first video I put up for Groove, Mike had a headshot and I screen shared the offer at the time, and it wasn't Groove, you know, the whole platform. It was one of the products, Groove Pages, that he was selling for a one-time fee, right? No one had ever done this before. As soon as I spotted it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I put up a video telling people how amazing it was. You know, this is a one-time fee for you to get lifetime access to Groove Pages and a link. And 20 minutes later, I got a commission. The next day, I got a commission. The next day, I got 2 commissions. About a week later, just in the new year, Joe Jablonski reached out to me and said, hey man, you're killing it. You're doing really well. Thank you so much. And about a week after that, I was on a call with Mike. Right? They didn't know me from anywhere, from nothing. And all I did was put up a video, and then I put up more. And when I hopped on a call with Mike, he was like, yeah, every time I'm logging in, I can see you on Google, right? Think of the power of that. So that is it, guys. So those of you who have put a 5, tell me, put in the chat box, I'm all in, right? If you like, that is how easy it is to get started, guys. Easy peasy for you to go and generate. Most people overcomplicate things, right? But that's all it takes, right? Okay, cool. So we're going to go straight on to fundamental pattern shift number 3 is to use the power of free. Okay, now this is an image from a show in the 90s called Churn. I got accused of being sexist once, which I promise you I'm not. This is just that they were 3 witches that had this thing called the power of free. So it was just a reference to that. So hopefully that doesn't offend anyone. Okay, so basically this is where you want to grab a pen or take a screenshot, because this is like pure value. This is like, if you follow these 3 steps, this is what my 6,000 students go through every single time. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look for search for traffic, okay? Now to do that, you need to use a keyword tool, okay? Now there's loads of them out there. Some of them are like super cheap now, like $10 a year. Some of them are free, right? There's all sorts of keyword tools out there, but you want to make sure that there's search for traffic. So you've got your product, okay? And you're going to look for search for traffic around the product itself, the reasons why people buy the product and the problems people have that will lead to them buying the product. And you create videos around those, right? Okay, and again, you can just use images, okay? And then we're going to look for buying intent, okay? So we want to make sure that this keyword will lead to a sale, okay? And if you're not sure how to, like, if you're not sure, right, will that keyword, when I create a video, will it lead to a sale? Just go and Google it, and if there's ads, then you're onto a winner, right? Because people only advertise against keywords where there's ads, where there's buying intent, sorry, is what I meant to say. So yeah, buying intent keywords. And again, use your now. So if it's like try Groove Funnels or Groove Funnels demo or Groove demo or Groove pages or Groove webinar, Groove mail, like all of that stuff's going to lead to a buying intent, because if someone's looking for a demo, they want to see what it looks like before they go and get it, right? So really, really serving, helping Mike and his team grow his company, right? So, and also you need a link above the fold, okay? Now, you just want to link to the product, okay, that's clickable. So HTTPS, you want all of that bit in there, right? So that it's hyperlinked, so that it will go straight to your product. And you want to put that as well in the comments, because on different types of devices, it comes up different. So on certain types of mobiles or tablets or whatever, you want to have a link that's there for them to click straight away, right? Because quite often they won't even watch the video, because if they're in a buying state, they'll watch a few seconds and then they'll just want to click it. And that's what you want, right? So that's all you need. And then we're going to apply the power of free, okay? So when I first started this was actually that case study I showed you earlier. We were getting 50% conversion. We got contacted by the actual vendor and they said, you're killing it. You're doing really well, Paul. Thank you so much. I was like, cool, you know, that's great. And he said, you're getting 50% conversion. Now, you know, I have to hold my hands up here. I didn't actually know, because this is kind of stress-free marketing. I don't really check in on a lot of this stuff. I just knew that we were making money, right? Anyway, I went and checked across the board, because he told me to go and look at it. He said, look, he said, on a Black Friday, we might get 15, 20% conversion. 50% conversion is not really a statistic you see in anything. He said, so can you just go and sort of have a little look at what's going on? And I'm like so glad he did, because we kind of reverse engineered it, and what we discovered was amazing. And again, this is where you might want to take a screenshot or just make some notes, because this is where the penny's going to drop for most people, right? Because we didn't realize that we'd come across the biggest marketing opportunity in history so far. And, you know, and I thought it would all be sewn up by now, but it isn't. Hardly anybody's paying attention to this. So what we discovered was, right, so if you think about it, go back about 5 years, 6 years, you'd go and put in a search for a product and go and buy it, right? You just go and, you know, yeah, sure, go and buy this thing, whatever, put the search term in, go and buy it. But what do we do now? Okay, very often, in most cases, we're preconditioned to get a second opinion, right? So an example, Amazon, we're going to look at the reviews. eBay will look at the reviews. If we want to go on holiday, we'll look at TripAdvisor, right? If we want to go to a restaurant, we look at TripAdvisor. If we want to get a tradesman, Yelp comes up on Google now, right? Google actually pushes Yelp on Google. You've got compare the market type websites where you're comparing, you know, all different types of things. You get top 10 lists of energy suppliers, mobile phone contracts, insurance, all sorts of things. And all these things are affiliate websites, right? And, you know, who here, like, put a 1 in the chat box, guys, if you've been to buy a camera or a telly or, you know, an electronic device, and you just want to see somebody unboxing it first, see what they have to say. We're all doing it. Okay, I'm not going to check because I know the answer, because we're all doing it subconsciously, right? Now, this is where, if we were doing this as affiliate marketers, right, we can actually hijack the sale. Okay, so instead of people putting in the product and then going and buying it, okay, they're going to put in the product and they're going to go and they just want to scratch that itch. They just want to get that thing that they need, that we need, so that we can move forward, right? So if we put in groove funnels, we want to see somebody, let's just have a look, see what someone has to say about it, right? And then they land on my video or your video showing them a demo, right? We add that trust, you know? And again, people always say to me, like, well, what if I'm promoting my own product, Paul? How can I add trust? You just show, no one knows it's your video. So you would just go and show them testimonials. You know, you just show them people using the product. You know, again, you can do this all in a slideshow. Okay. And, you know, people prefer video, right? So this is an abundance of search for traffic with buying intent. We've got a link and we've scratched that one thing that we're looking for. And the reason we call this the power of free is because this is where we put the link. And the like human race seems to love the number 3, right? 3 is a magic number because songs are in 3 parts, plays are in 3 parts. Films are often in 3 sections, right? So as long as we've got the link there, no one really wants to come out of here and, like, there's no such thing as the power of 4, right? Nobody wants to come out of here and go and find the vendor. They, you know, if you give them the link and they're good to go. And I'll show you in a minute as well how you can apply a really cool bonus here, which makes it even more of a no-brainer. You don't need to, but if you add a bonus here, like a guide, a PDF, something that costs you nothing, like it's a digital thing that basically packages this product with something extra that they can't get anywhere else, then you get the sale, right? And that is how we get 50% conversion, because people are already in a buying state. They needed one thing taken care of, and then we give them the link. And that is how we can get, you know, sometimes we get under, sometimes we get over, but across the board, we get much, much higher conversions. Pretty powerful, huh? So are you guys getting this now, right? Are you starting, like, put a 5 in the chat box if this is sort of blowing your socks off, right? And I will check, actually, because I want to make sure that this is, you know, kind of people are getting good value here. So, so yeah, okay, so you might want to take a screenshot of that. But basically, let's just see, loads of 5s coming in. Okay, so this brings us to fundamental pattern shift number 4, okay? And this is the magic 5-step formula. Now, this is the same system that myself and all my students go through every single time. Okay, so again, you might want to make a note or take a screenshot. And yeah, and basically this is it. It's very, very simple. But if you follow this formula, okay, it's going to be hard for you not to get results, right? So first of all, you want to pop up a channel, but you want to choose a niche, right? Now, some people say don't choose something that you're interested in, choose what the market's interested in. But this is YouTube, right? Everything is on YouTube. So choose something you're interested in. That's good, okay? Now, when I say niche, it can be a theme, okay? So it could be Star Wars or May the Force be with you, or it could be Star Trek, or it could be a pets, you know, funny dogs. It could be anything. But you want a niche or a theme. You want an overall umbrella, and you want it to be broad, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to choose something very specific, but then you can branch out, right? So you can use that. I mean, it doesn't matter too much because you can put up different channels all the time. But again, obviously, what we want is a niche or a theme, okay, when we put up our channel. So that's step 1. Step 2, we're going to sign up for an affiliate product that's going to make us a minimum of $100. Now, if you're using this system to promote your own products or services, obviously you can ignore this step. And even if it's under $100, that's cool, okay? But when I've actually shown this to people, people say, oh, well, can I graduate to that? Can I start at $10, right? And you can do, of course, you can do what you want. But the thing is that people have that mindset from paid ads. Because if you go and try and advertise against someone for a $10 paid ad, your auction price is cheaper. So people think they have to do that when they come over to this, but this is all free. Okay, and you will find higher ticket products in your niche, guaranteed. Okay, there's going to be as many people searching for the high ticket products as there are the low. So you might as well set the game up to win, right? So, you know, this is what we recommend, $100 minimum profit. So you guys promoting Groove, if you are on the Groove, if you're in Groove Platinum, you're going to be getting $500. Actually, I think it's more now. I was getting $500 before. So $500, right? So Groove is a very, very good one. Just go and promote Groove because you're getting 5 times as much. And Groove is just growing at a rapid rate. So Groove is only just started, right? Groove is, I mean, I know Groove's a couple of years old, but really it's 18 months old, really, when they really started to build momentum. So this is the young days of Groove. And Groove still do a lifetime deal. No one else does it. So go and take advantage of that because I'll show you some, you know, I'll show you a couple of things in a minute that I've been able to do. Okay, so again, we want to set the game up to win. So don't go and quit your jobs. If those of you who've got full-time jobs, I want you to kind of prove that this works before you go and quit jobs and things like that, especially with what we've been through, right? So set the game up to win. So 1 hour a day. So 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, or 1 hour before you go to bed, or 1 hour after work, right? Just choose when you want to do it. Okay. Now this isn't an hour-long video. This is an hour from you creating, editing, uploading your video onto YouTube. Okay. And when I say editing, I mean literally put your slides together, go onto Zoom, and put them up on YouTube. That's it, right? That's kind of what I mean, right? And then add music if you want to on YouTube. Okay, 1 hour a day. Okay, then you want to post this. You want to do this for the next 30 days. So we're going to check in after 10 days and see where we're at, right? So we want to what we want to do is we want to set a target to see what we've achieved. So after 10 days, we're going to check in, and you can set your target at anything you want, okay? But we recommend setting a goal of, say, $200 to $1,000 a day. And some of you are going to look at that and think that's unrealistic, Paul. Like, what you're talking about, this is crazy money, right? But set it where you're comfortable. But I've got a case study now where I'm going to show you how to do $1,000 a day with this, right? So, but what we do is we check in after 10 days. After 10 days, we're going to look and see where we're at. Because once we hit it, right, we have options. We can leave it and it's going to sit there for as long as it's relevant, up to 5 years, making us this money on autopilot. This is set and forget, right? Or we can say, okay, we hit it after 10 days, let's carry on for 30 days and double and treble it, right? We've got options. So that's why we want to go, because we want something as a benchmark, right? So I'll show you a case study of how you can potentially get to $1,000 a day and how we did as well, right? So you can see exactly how it breaks down. So here's how $1,000 a day breaks down. So first of all, obviously we tick the box $100 front end profit. You'll see all the products I promote here make me $100, right? The actual case study is for this one here, which was the One Funnel Away challenge, right? We put up 10 videos, okay, and then we check in, okay? And for this to work, we only want 2 clicks per video per day. Now, some of you are like looking at that thinking, am I doing some jiggery pokery, right? Because, you know, I get it, right? But the fact is that if you just get 2 clicks per video per day, don't forget, with all of these are ranked in front of buyers, right? And we've got the power of free. So we're scratching that itch that they need scratched, and they're already in a buying state, and we've gone for an abundance of traffic. So we're ranking for big keywords, right? So if you're not sure whether this is even possible, just happily go and check out my channel, Passive Income Ladder, and you will see, you know, that video I showed you earlier with 1,000 views, that's actually on the lower end. You know, we crush it. Okay, so 10 videos at 2 clicks a day, that's 20 clicks a day, right? So once we've got 10 videos all getting 2 clicks a day, okay, if we get around an average of 50% conversion, which we did with this, right, that's how we get to $1,000 a day. Because 50% conversion on 20 clicks is 10 sales, and that's why we set it at $100, because it can really start to stack up, right? Okay, so obviously, you know, take a screenshot of that if you want to, right? But here is the case study, right? So you can see here, I put up a listing. This is on Google and YouTube. We had some listings, right? And you could see the first day we got a commission, right? The next day we didn't get a commission at all. And then it started to heat up really quickly, right? So in this 24-hour period, we got $900. So we ended up getting $1,100. Somebody even went and bought one of my products and we made $3,000 in just over 24 hours. Again, from just a handful of videos. And then we were making sales of this every single day. So you could kind of get it like some of you, like I think the penny's going to drop for some of you, right? But what I want you to do is imagine, like if you hit it, right? You hit your $1,000 a day, right? And don't be afraid to set that. I know some people are, and they think it's woo-woo, right? But there's no reason you can't hit that because you might not hit it on the first one or the second one, but let's say you hit it on the third one. Maybe you do hit it on the second one. But once you hit it, obviously that's set and forget. That's $365,000 a year, right? Potentially coming in. And if it's an affiliate product, you've got no tickets, no nothing. This is all, you can, do what you want. Now, what would it mean for you? Like we had somebody who wanted to get a book deal, right? They'd written to every single publisher. They couldn't get a book deal. And a book deal is actually effectively just an advance, right? They give you some money and say, yeah, go and research and write your book, right? But they couldn't get that. So she said, right, I'm going to get my own book deal. So she did this 10 to 30 days, $100. She hit her target, took 11 months off. Yeah. I remember I was going to internet marketing conferences and before COVID hit, I was going to quite a few. I went to one just recently, like they were all shut down for a while, but I went to one and they had Ty Lopez there. Okay. And he was a speaker and he said that he would go and pick up one nugget, just like he would go to a whole marketing event, just looking for one nugget. And he said sometimes they didn't come from the speaker. There'll be the guy he sat next to or the girl he sat next to would give him one little thing and he would do one a month. And he's now worth, 100 million, right? So, maybe you want to sit on a beach. Maybe that's all you want to do. You just want to have 11 months off going to all the hot countries or sit on a beach with a drink in one hand and a laptop in the other, right? Or do what I do and just work like crazy because I'm a bit mad because I love it. I could actually retire tomorrow. The thing is that I do this because I know that I want to spread the word. I'm so this is a thing that I know when people get hold of it and they get results of it, they give themselves a bit of a cheat code with it and they can win. But I actually don't need to do it anymore. I could quit tomorrow, but like I say, I'm crazy. I love my job. I've got a dream job. I love it, right? So we'll have a quick recap. I'll have a sip of my drink. So we went through how I reduced all my marketing costs to zero. Okay, by taking, not putting ourselves on camera, using the power of Google and YouTube's algorithm